Some of Melbourne's leading restaurateurs and hospitality icons have taken it onto themselves to band together to create their own roadmap. They want change to the restrictions, they want to save jobs, and they want to be at the forefront of getting Melbourne back up and going again. One of the key drivers behind this push is publican Paul Dimattina, owner of Lamaro's Hotel in South Melbourne, and he joins me now tonight. Thanks again for your time, Paul. Now, correct me wrong if I'm wrong here, but one of the big issues with these restrictions is they've been worked up by bureaucrats with little or no industry consultation, no idea what's feasible, and no idea how you make a quid and how many covers you need to sort of do each night to make ends meet. What happens if your group of 40 doesn't get change? What happens to all the bars and restaurants in Melbourne? Can they survive until the end of the year before they can open their doors again?
I don't think there's a lot that aren't going to be able to open again. We know the Restaurant Caterers Association commissioned a survey last week, and so far some of those numbers are looking like 60% of people said that they probably will not be able to reopen again, which is just a sad stat. The number just keeps going up. I think initially we were talking 30 or 40% of the industry may never make it back. Now that number's looking more like 50 or 60%, which is devastating for the state. I mean, you only got to look at tonight. I know you, a lot of viewers in New South Wales tonight was meant to be Brownlow medal night, and it's not on. We don't have this last Saturday in September should have been grand final day here in Melbourne. Unfortunately, this year, obviously things have changed, and you just got to look at some of the plans put forward. We're a bit disappointed with it. We don't believe we're having enough of a voice, enough of a seat at the table, and what we have put forward is not being listened to.
So take us through what your group of 40, I mean, you are the most powerful restaurateurs in Melbourne. What do you want to see happen? And you say you're not being heard. I'm hearing that there's an appalling level of engagement by ministers with the industry. Again, tell me if that's fair.
Yeah, at the moment, I mean, the one thing this has done, it's brought a lot of us really close together. Some that have, we've all been rivals over the years. Now we've become absolute friends, and we're fighting for each other's survival as well as the broader industry. As I said, it's been great that we've all banded together. There's some fabulous ideas that have come out. We believe we've got the right things in place. We are working on a gold standard health and wellbeing plan that we would love to see developed and brought. Well, we're developing it at the moment. We'd love to see it brought in. We just need to get a seat at the table. We'd love Dan to sit around with a few of us and we can show our roadmap forward, not just have to listen to their roadmap forward. But even today, I think I try not to tune into the press conference anymore, but to hear the fact that, we're 11 cases and, the strategy's working. Well, the bloody strategy would want to work. We've been closed for 9 months, hard lockdown now for 9 months nearly. Of course you think the strategy should work. July 9th, I should say, was when we got locked down really hard again. So you'd hope the strategy's working. And New South Wales has 4 cases today, and they're open and trading, and everyone's having a wow of a time. Friends I've spoke to in Sydney today, out and about, they can go to the pub, they can go see their mates, and they've only got 4 cases. So it just shows we've fundamentally flawed in what we've done.
So just on that point, 11 cases today in Victoria. When New South Wales was at 11 new cases, they dealt with the outbreak and they kept the show on the road. In fact, no one had to lock down. I'm interested from you. You're looking north to other states and territories like all other restaurateurs. Are you dismayed to see that they can manage this and get back to work? And as you say, pretty much since March, you've been shut down.
Yeah, absolutely. It just leaves us a little aghast that we can't have navigated our way through it better. And, people shouldn't be comparing us to Europe or anything where, compare ourselves to New South Wales, compare ourselves to Queensland, other states in Australia who have managed it well. We don't live on top of each other like they do in Europe, the high density living there. Italy, for instance, 60 million people living in the same size of Victoria. It's, we have much more space to move, room to breathe. And as I said, New South Wales, that's got to be our go-to, and they've done it well, and we see that they've just managed it brilliantly.
I've got to ask you, you were one of the first people to speak out in Victoria. You wanted a COVID-safe way to reopen. You've been targeted online, I'm told, by all the sort of usual crowd, the I Stand With Dan mob, the Mad Witches and others, and you've had some pretty serious threats as well. Is that going to stop you?
Yeah. No, it's not going to stop me. You know what? We live in a democracy and I'm allowed to voice my opinion. And if people don't agree with my opinion, fine, fabulous. I couldn't care less. I'm allowed an opinion and I'm going to voice it. So those that have targeted me, well, you know, as I said, it goes in one ear and out the other. It's at least I'm standing up for what I believe in and I've got a reasonably strong opinion and I'm going to stand by that. I'm not going to let someone bully me into submission. Just not the way I work. As I've said to people, if they want to take me on, there's a park over the road. We can stand out there and, you know, fight to the death if that's what it's going to take.
Paul Dimattina, more strength to your arm. You're welcome on here any night. I'll tell you what, as soon as we all get out of jail, I'm coming down to have a pot of that Carlton draft that's sitting there right in front of you.
Thank you, Peter. Well, I am fortunate enough that I can have a Carlton on tap. And, you know, I know next week I think 250,000 construction workers will go back. And unfortunately, boys, you won't be having a beer off tap for a very, very long time unless we can, you know, get some positive action and some change happening real quick. We believe that we can open in a real safe environment, in a safe way, sooner rather than later. And we just love to be heard a little bit more by the government and the bureaucrats at B.
Absolutely. Paul Dimattina, Lamaro's Hotel, South Melbourne. When we're open, get there. Thanks for your time, Paul.